Welcome, Bitcoin fam, to the #1 Bitcoin pod. Bitcoin pumping and in the green, new all-time highs in play. We're only 3,000 away. Hopefully, it happens today. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest technical analysis, as well as MetaPlanet shares jump after their $5.4 billion plan to buy more Bitcoin, which was just revealed. We'll also be discussing strategy adds an additional 1,045 Bitcoin for 110 million in the latest purchase update, in which Michael Saylor shared earlier today. We'll also be discussing crypto analyst that says Bitcoin has a pretty good chance of hitting this massive price target, spoiler alert, of 250,000. I'll be citing the 3 technical signals. Also, Samson Mao of Jan 3 drops the bombshell, says Bitcoin risk from their core product. I'll be breaking this down for you. We'll also be discussing, here's how Bitcoin price gets to $1 million, according to the Bitcoin OG legend himself, Adam Back. And as a bonus, we'll be giving you an update, brand new Bitcoin price prediction from Michael Saylor. And spoiler alert, he's even more bullish. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market, all this, plus so much more in today's show. If you're new to the channel, important, smash the likes, go ahead, subscribe, ring the bell. That way you get notified each and every day when I go live 7 days a week. Today is pod episode 2017. I'm your host, JV. It's June 9th. 2025. Bitcoins are ripping like the new Scottie Pippen, virtually $3,000 away from entering price discovery. So we may enter price discovery during the live stream, which I'm so looking forward to. But anyways, let's kick it off with our market watch as we do each and every day. Pulling up Coin 360, pretty low biddy, up 2% on the day, just shy of 109 at the time of the live stream. Ether in the green, virtually everything pumping back in the green as the bullish momentum returned, like Bruce Lee in Return of the Dragon, is all I'm saying. Year of the Dragon was last year, but the dragon's still biddy flying through the world. The highest of the highest in the firmament. But anyways, we have 111 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours. We have the Bitcoin market cap very well on the rise today. Today, 2.159 trillion. Dominance back on the rise as well, 63.9%. All eyes on the pretty little bitty going up forever, Laura. And I ain't talking about the Laura from Family Matters. I'm talking about the Laura Laura Shin from the Michael Saylor interview. Get it together. But anyways, top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours. We got Kaya up 23%, followed by the infamous Fart coin. I dare say the stinkiest coin in the crypto sphere. Up 10% on the day, followed by the SPX up 6%. Which alts, if any, are you bullish on for this particular bull? Do let me know. Do you think we'll have a legitimate alt bull season this cycle? We haven't really seen one yet. And checking out the infamous crypto bubbles will start on the day, and that's what I'd expect to see. The majority of the market in the green, pumping once again. Zooming out for the week, I'd say 80-20 green over red. Zooming out for the month, unfortunately, maybe 90-10 red over green. And zooming out for the year, definitely the majority in the red. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index. Today we're rated a 62, same as yesterday in greed. Last week 64, and last month a 70 in greed. And checking out the infamous time chain calendar. We're currently at block number 900,503. Max Kaiser says when we hit block number 1 million, it's going to reveal a secret. Do you think there will be something embedded into the blockchain? You let me know. And as of today, you can exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 921 sats, so you know precisely what to do. You pick up the sats, you put down the gats, and pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man Sergio over at BitcoinCaps.net. Cop yourself a custom Biddy exclusive. But anyways, let's dive into our astrology for the baddies, aka TA, and then we'll pull up some of the live charts and all that good stuff. Bitcoin chart pattern, return of the hodl mode. Where my hodlers at? Diamond hands. Make some motherfucking noise. But yeah, you're looking at a 4-hour chart here. I'll pull up the live chart here in a bit. Bitcoin price broke out from the descending trend line pattern after forming the local bottom of 100,300. What's ironic, that was just 3 days ago, and we're up 9,000 since then. Crazy, this volatility. And on the daily chart, there's a doji candle, which has emerged, absorbing the sell-side liquidity accumulated over the past 3 weeks. Characterized by the small body and the long wicks, the doji candle reflects indecision between the buyers and the sellers and often proceeds major price moves. The recent absorption of liquidity below the candle suggests a possible exhaustion of the bearish pressure. Game on. Potentially laying the groundwork for the upward surge. Game on. Doji candle is very bullish, quoting the analyst here. A weekly Bitcoin doji after rejecting the swing highs this week before means nothing by itself. Literally, the same thing happened before Novid. We need to see the price confirming with a break higher, and that's precisely what we're witnessing. The price is breaking higher in real time. We did get a very strong weekly close yesterday as well, above the line in the sand, which we love to see, so things are going according to plan. So he says, only then we run if we break higher, and that's precisely what we're doing. Adding to the bullish narrative, another analyst highlighted the fractal pattern between the BIDI price action after the Bitcoin ETF approval, which was on January 11th, 2024. With the current price action, this pattern features a God candle. You're speaking my language, JB. Which hints at the possibility of a strong upward move. Historically, such self-repeating fractals on the higher time frames carry a 70 to 80% accuracy in forecasting trend reversals. So let's send it. 120 in play. I dare say 124, which is the target on the weekly chart, which we'll pull up here shortly. Now, parallel to the technical indicators, market sentiment shifted towards accumulation, and we haven't seen this. In fact, we have the lowest amount of Bitcoin available on the exchanges since the year 2018, which was 7 years ago. And Crypto Quant shows the spot market volumes falling to just 965 million, while futures trading remains elevated. This suggests investors entering the infamous HODL mode, reminiscent of the accumulation phase that preceded the Bitcoin explosive rally in late 2020. How many of you remember that? I remember after Novid, Bitcoin crashed to 3,500, and within 12 months, in March of 2021, we hit over 60,000. So if history was to repeat, good Lord, you know what I mean? Strap on for the ride of your lives, Biddy Broskis. And supporting the shift, another analyst highlighted diverging behavior between the short-term and long-term hodlers. Over the last 30 days, short-term hodlers distributed 592,000 Biddy as Bitcoin rallied towards 110, signaling uncertainty or profit-taking. But in contrast, long-term hodlers, which are the smart money and the whales, which are holding over 155 days, accumulated 605,000 Bitcoin since the all-time high. I'm not surprised because smart money is always going to accumulate Bitcoin while the idiots are going to sell to the likes of the smart money. Quoting the analyst, while short-term hodlers are exiting, the long-term hodlers are stepping in. This suggests that the ongoing uptrend is just not speculative. It is structurally supported by the diamond hands. So where you at, diamond hands, laser eyes? Make some motivating noise, of course, for the nip. And I will pull up the live charts, which are looking lit like a mofo right now. Just give me 1 second to do so. And again, welcome everyone to the live stream. Tri-stream, Bitcoin all-time high in play. We're only 3,000 away. It may happen today. What more can I say? This is the 1 hour chart. Look at that bullish momentum since bottoming out at around that 100,000 level 3 days ago. We've been on the constant elevation. And here's a great acronym for peace. Positive energy activates constant elevation. And that's precisely what we're witnessing in the market right now. Check that out. This is the 1 hour chart, extremely bullish since this morning. Again, we're currently sitting above 108.7, and this is a live chart action. Jackson satisfaction, Bo Jackson for the broskies. And zooming out from the 1 hour, we'll take a look at the 4 hour and we'll work our way backwards. Also, mega bull candles on the 4 hour chart. No particular bull scenario targets, but we're going to continue working our way backwards here. Let's check out the daily. I have a strong feeling this is going to look lit as well. Absolutely. 1, 2, 3, 4 green consecutive candles on the daily chart. And now transitioning to the weekly. And as I mentioned earlier, we had a very strong weekly close yesterday during the live stream. We got the rising wedgie, the only wedgie Nipinator approves of. And we also have the bull scenario target, cup and handle sitting pretty. 124, no diddy. But you already know. And zooming out from there, let's take a quick look at a monthly. And thus far, so good. Past couple of months have been extremely bullish. As you can see, April and May, we got green candle closes. And already for the month of June, we're in the green. Baby. And if you don't know, maybe now you know. All right, next story of the day, fam. Let's continue with where we left off. MetaPlanet continues their massive Bitcoin accumulation spree alongside MicroStrategy /StrategyB. But next headline here reads, MetaPlanet shares jump after their $5.4 billion plan was announced to buy Bitcoin, which we did discuss in yesterday's stream. So let's dive deeper. Japanese investment company MetaPlanet shares spiked on the market opening after announcing the plan to raise $5.4 billion to buy Bitcoin last week. MetaPlanet stock shot up 12% in the June 9th trading session today, trading at 1,505 yen, which is $10.42. However, at its peak of the trading session, MetaPlanet stock reached the high of 1,641 yen, which is $11.36, representing a 22% increase. MetaPlanet updated its Bitcoin acquisition plan to acquire 210,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2027 in a June 6 stock acquisition rights program announcement, increasing its previous target of 21,000. That's a hell of a difference. Holy shit. So they're all in. If successful, the acquisition would make MetaPlanet the second largest holder of Bitcoin amongst public companies behind Saylor's strategy. MetaPlanet currently holds 8,888 Bitcoin following the latest 1,088 Bitcoin acquisition announcement. And as part of the new $555 million plan, the firm will need to buy 201,112 Bitcoin by 2027 at a cost of over $21 billion. And by 2026, MetaPlanet has flagged plans to hold 100,000 Bitcoin. So another massive player here. Here's the announcement on X from their CEO. Let me know if you feel they'll achieve the big goal. MetaPlanet first announced that it had bought Bitcoin back on July 22nd last year, and its shares went up 19%. Back then, it was only $1.10 USD, and in the year since the first buy, the stock is now up 1,744%. It pays to adopt the Bitcoin treasury strategy. Just saying. Now, a growing number of companies have decided to do something similar, adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet, with the South Korean entertainment company K-Wave Media becoming one of the latest, officially announced June 4th. Corporate Bitcoin treasuries collectively hold over 3 million in Bitcoin, worth over 342 billion, according to the data, out of more than 19 million currently in circulation. The Bitcoin reserve strategy trend has led 61 publicly listed firms now holding a combined 3.2% of all the Bitcoin that will ever exist. Crazy. Now, let this sink in. Just Michael Saylor's company, Strategy B, has roughly 3% of the supply, 600,000 Bitcoin. And then BlackRock has over 3% of the supply, which is 600,000 Bitcoin. So again, there's such a limited amount. And with the massive institutional demand and government demand right now, good Lord, get ready for that supply shock, fam. It's a-coming. Other companies have also seen the stock prices surge after announcing the Bitcoin buying spree. Paris-based crypto company Blockchain Group started buying November 5th, and the stock spiked 225% to 52 cents. Meanwhile, shares of the Indonesian fintech firm DigiAsia nearly doubled, rising 91% after the company said it planned to raise $100 million to seed the first of many biddy buys. But not all experienced a spike. There was an outlier, a Norwegian crypto brokerage firm, K33. They announced May 28th an intent to buy and hold crypto, but the share price traded flat, down 1.96%. And also we have GameStop shares jumped nearly 12% March 26th after the company announced plans to purchase Bitcoin. However, it then dropped 11% on May 11th. Happy 11/11. After the retailer made the first purchase of 4,710 Bitcoin. I think we were anticipating like a 10,000 or 15,000 Bitcoin buy, because again, they're supposed to have like $5+ billion in cash available, but they used only a limited amount to make that purchase. But it is what it is. Welcome to the Bitcoin Club, GameStop. Let's get it. Let's continue with our next story of the day. Discuss the latest from the Giggy Chad, Mikey Saylor. The headline here reads, Strategy adds 1,045 Bitcoin for 110 million in their latest purchase. That's right. And we're now less or roughly 3,000 away from all-time high price discovery in play. According to the Monday U.S. SEC filing, Strategy acquired 1,045 of the biddy at 105,426 per biddy. The company now holds 582,000 Bitcoin even and acquired for about $40 billion at an average price of $70,000 per BTC. The announcement follows Strategy co-founder and executive chair Mikey Saylor hinting at a purchase on June 8th. The buy marks the 9th consecutive week that Strategy has acquired the biddy. Game on. Shout out Mr. Saylor. News of the latest purchase comes as Bitcoin approaches the all-time high. Like I said, 112 is the current price discovery level. We may eclipse it here today during the stream. Let's make it happen. Here's the official announcement from Strategy on X. Strategy acquired 1,045 at the biddy for $110.2 million at $105,426 per biddy and has achieved a biddy yield of 17% year to date. And as of 6/8/2025, we hodled 582,000 Bitcoin even McGeven for $40.79 billion at 70,000 per preload biddy, going up forever, Laura Shin. Now, the latest Bitcoin acquisition follows Strategy announcement of a $1 billion stock offering. They virtually quadrupled it from the initial announcement of $250 million. Game on. The stock offering issued 11.76 million of the shares of Strategy's 10% Series A perpetual stride preferred stock at $85 per share. Now, corporate copycats are following in the playbook. That's right. They began accumulating Bitcoin. They were the first to do it. Michael Saylor's company back in 2020 in August. Now, for those that don't know, do you know Michael Saylor initially passed on Bitcoin in 2013? The tweet is still up on his account, and you can verify this. I think it was in December of 2013. Michael Saylor made a post that Bitcoin was going to suffer the same fate as online gambling. I guess back then he had no faith in online gambling or Bitcoin. And now 7 years later in 2020, he's like, let me revisit that decision. And he was looking at his 400 million market cap of the company and considering, if I don't do nothing, it's a melting ice cube, hence the melting ice cube metaphor in which he so brilliantly shared. And now his company is worth what, 60, 70 billion dollars. So smart move, Michael. And now we have the other corporate companies doing the same thing, putting the biddy on the balance sheet. The company's market cap stands at 104 billion. Holy shit. I didn't even realize it was that large. I mean, that Giga Chat is no joke, brother. Amongst this, we also have MetaPlanet, nicknamed the Japanese or Japan MicroStrategy. We already discussed their new advantageous plans of stacking a biddy like there's no tomorrow. We also have a Norwegian block exchange that saw the price rise 130. So ultimately, my understanding is most of the companies that are announcing a Bitcoin adoption strategy, whether a treasury or some sort, their stock price tends to go parabolic. And we're witnessing this with stocks, not just in Japan, but even here in the United States. And we have a new Bitcoin treasury firm by the name of 21 and already made a multi-billion-dollar acquisition as well. That's Jack Mallers and all my Bitcoin ballers, the Howard Lutnicks, Tether CEO Paolo, and those guys. JB, the biddy is the best. There is no second best. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, and it goes the doing. The Giga Chad got the biddy at the price he deserved, just like the rest of the world. I think we can be grateful Saylor didn't get in till 2020, because if he would have took the approach he did in 2020, back in 2013, he'd probably already have 10 million Bitcoins. That guy. Yeah, you know what I mean? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There is no second best. Headline here reads, analyst says Bitcoin has a pretty good chance of hitting the massive price target in 2026 of 250,000. I'm going to be sharing these 3 technical signals. Shout out to all my Bitcoin dragons. Stacking the biddy. Yeah, that's right. Analyst known for making timely Bitcoin calls believes the preload biddy will surge to an astronomical price level based on 3 technical signals. We're talking about Sheds. He shared on YouTube the Bitcoin looks strong on the weekly chart after breaking out of the cup and handle pattern. In a technical analysis, the cup and handle is a bullish continuation structure, indicating an asset is primed. And we're not talking Logan Paul's shitty prime drink prime to move higher after the period of consolidation. The second bullish signal, according to Cheds, is the uptrend, which appears technically sound. Sound money shaking up the game. My biddy bling. Sound based on how much of the biddy spent, forming the solid base between 16 and 70,000. And third, the trader says the depth of the consolidation range of the last 3 years is likely enough to sustain rallies above 200,000 per preload biddy. Next year in 2026, no diddy. It is still my base case, he says, and this is just a very good general outline. I think we have a pretty good chance of the mid 250,000 in 2026. I dare say we have a good chance of that in 2025. Send it. That seems kind of aggressive, I know. But the funny thing is that this has a conservative target for some people, because people are talking about hitting 250,000 this year. The analyst says absolutely not. That's crazy talk, JB. Hey, Nippinator indicators never lied yet. So that's all I'm saying, Sheds. Calm down, brother. There's 0 chance of 250 this year, the analyst says. 0 chance. That tells me he's retarded. I hate to say it. For someone to say it's a zero chance is pure ignorance, in my humble opinion, but let's continue to entertain this. But I think it is a decent chance of mid 250, just based on the height of the cup and handle pattern and the time interval and the consolidation range. That is my general idea, just based on the weekly trajectory. And that's according to the analyst. Again, I don't even agree with this particular analyst. I think that's insane talk to say there's 0% chance of hitting 250 this year. I disagree. Nipinator Indicator disagrees. But you let me know your thoughts and we'll continue with the bitty news. Broskies. Next up, this headline reads, Samson Mao drops the bomb diggity bomb. Shell. Bitcoin at risk from the core product. In fact, he shared this tweet the other day. Someone wrote here, I happen to agree with the core guys on the filter stuff, but Maxwell's sentiment here simplistic, bordering disingenuous. You can just do things. Well, not really. Core has a tremendous amount of latent power for at least two reasons. And if for those that don't know the conversation, referring to the Bitcoin core. But anyways, Samson responded to this guy and wrote, Bitcoin Core has become a risk to Bitcoin. So here's why. Let's break this one down. In a post, Samson Mao declared that the Bitcoin Core developers have become a risk to the Biddy. Mao was responding to a comment by developer James in which he explained why core developers have more authority over the Bitcoin ecosystem than some might think. This indicates that could easily move ahead with the expansion of plans, which Mao is very wary of. The James stated that the Bitcoin core developers have a tremendous amount of the latent power for at least two reasons. Firstly, he noted every business has basically hard-coded the use of that implementation with the levels of risk aversion surpassing never got fired for buying an IBM. The developer claimed that this has created an amazing de facto monopoly on economic nodes. And simply put, these core developers have so much autonomy over how the network runs. Secondly, James stated that the Bitcoin network is so complicated that many non-developers inherently must delegate to some technical authority in which they trust. He added core developers have ended up being the target of that delegation. The developer remarked that this is a tremendous amount of sticky power and that anyone who fails to realize it is naive. Those comments come amid the spam wars debate. Bitcoinist reported that the Bitcoin core developers have taken a stance with plans to proceed on the op return expansion. And I guess they're allegedly forking the network, I'm assuming here. The developers declared that they won't step in to stop harmless data from entering the network, as this negates the Bitcoin purpose as a tool against censorship. However, Samson argued that this could undermine Bitcoin's status as sound money. Samson also alluded to past comments against Bitcoin developer Greg Maxwell and the proposed op return expansion on the network. Mao stated that Greg was being disingenuous in his support of the proposal and that it is too bad that most people worshipped him too much to see the truth. Greg remarked that the actual proposal change is insubstantial and that it would allow traffic to appear today as fake outputs, which bloat the UTXO set to become a non-bloating traffic. And I know we're probably speaking Spanish to some of you guys here, but this is a technical jargon. However, Samson holds a different opinion and declared that Greg is either intellectually dishonest or doesn't understand the current reality. And I don't pretend to understand this shit. I'll just keep it 100 with you guys, but I tend to believe Samson Mao is a good guy and he knows what the fuck he's talking about. I give him a lot of clout and a lot of credit. Shout out Samson Mao, the Bitcoin OG. He also responded to the recent statement that the Bitcoin core developers put out. He alleged developers have been changing the network gradually to enable the spam and now seem focused on removing barriers for the spammers. Not a good look. So yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? And do you agree with some of those core developers or Samson Mao, the OG himself? All right, fam, now for our feature story of the day. Here's how the Bitcoin price gets to 1 million per coin, according to the Bitcoin OG, Adam Back. And we'll also give you an additional bonus prediction, brand new, never heard before, from the Michael Saylor of Strategy B, who just announced another Bitcoin acquisition as well today. Pretty lit day. New all-time high in play. We just surpassed 109,000 as the Nipinator indicator predicted. Where you at, Nip? Where you at? You're making me look bad. You're making me look bad. Let's see if we can spot the Nipinator in the room. I dare spotted a nip. Holy shit. Nipinator indicator never disappoints. Less than 3,000 away. All-time high. Send it, mofos, and let's get it. So yeah, here's the latest. One idea of the price of Bitcoin hitting $1 million sound like a moon talk for the moon boys. But the notion seems to be changing from fringe speculation into the mainstream investment and inevitability thesis championed by JV, Nippinator, Chandy 10, our very own Oracle, and Bring Facts, and I dare say Darth Melville. Let's throw him in there. Let's speak the truth. Fueled by the growing institutional adoption. I dare say the institutional FOMO like a motherfucking FOMO. MoFo, no Diddy, and the bold long-term forecast. The pathway, no solo way, to the price target hinges on the seemingly simple yet monumental shift. No Peter Shifty. Hide your kids, hide your wives from the Peter Shifty. Wall Street allocating a significant slice. And we ain't talking about that what is it called? The CP, not the David Portnoy stuff, not that type of slice, no Pizzagate, no Diddy. Vast wealth for the number of the one digital asset. There's only one number one, I dare say. There is no second best. At the recent Bitcoin event, strategy executive Mr. Michael Saylor, the chairman of Strategy B, said when Wall Street's 10%, the pretty little bitty, is going to be $1 million per coin. And according to him, this level of allocation would equate to as much as 20 trillion flowing into the Bitcoin markets, making a hostile takeover economically impossible, as aggressive buying would only empower the existing hodlers. Let her rip. Tater chip. The Bitcoin maxi isn't alone in the mega bullish outlook. We have Blockstream CEO, Bitcoin OG, the one and only, Adam Back, bringing sexy back to the Bitcoin network. He believes Bitcoin could achieve the 1 million milestone target way before Wall Street accumulates 10%. Agreed. He suggests that even a widespread 2% allocation across the major asset managers like the BlackRock would be enough to push the biddy to that 7-figure milestone, a mere 2%. So if Adam is saying 2% allocation from Wall Street is going to send Bitcoin to $1 million, you do the math of what 10% is going to do. That would be a 5x. So $5 million per coin, send it and let's get it. And it is not the first time Saylor predicted the pretty little bitty price hitting 7 figures. In fact, he's been doing it religiously since I've discovered him in 2020. In fact, September of 2024, in an interview on CNBC, forecast the long-term price of the King crypto, $13 million. He called it perfect money, in contrast to the fiat currencies. In fact, one of these fiat currencies is officially at zero against Bitcoin. You ever heard of the Turkish lira? Look it up. Other prominent voices, such as CZ, one of the wealthiest in all of crypto, and the wealthiest to ever get locked up in jail. Ironic enough, but he's a free man now. Shout out CZ. Known as CZ, echoes similar sentiment. Shangping Zhao, the crypto entrepreneur, previously projected the pretty little bitty, ended up between 500,000 per coin and 2 million this cycle. Let me know if you agree, disagree with CZ. We also have Kathy Wood. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if the Kathy Wood could chuck the bitty? That's a question. In April, the firm revised the base target of 1.2 million by 2030 with a bullish estimate of 2.4 million. ARK attributed the potential surge to institutional adoption, especially the spot Bitcoin ETFs, as well as Bitcoin growing role as decentralized programmable store money in the company's estimation. All bets would be off if Bitcoin managed to capture at last 6.5% of the projected 200 trillion global investable asset market. This would dwarf gold's current share at roughly 3.6%. A comparison backed by data the Bitcoin enthusiast and early-stage angel investor Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, recently shared, showing that more Americans now own Bitcoin than gold. Take that, Schiffmeister, and hide your kids from Peter, please. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's on the cusp of re-entering price discovery live and in the flesh during the live stream, less than 3,000 away. Make some noise for that. And here's a little bonus, Action Jackson for you guys. Saylor on his 13 million bitty forecast, he says, I'm getting more bullish. And more bullish and more bullish as it continues to buy like there's no tomorrow. That's right. He recalled issuing the 13 million Bitcoin price forecast recently on stage in Vegas. And this was a forecast he initially first made in July of 2024 based on annual appreciation of just 29%. Of over 21 years. At the time, Bitcoin was only 65 Gs. So that model projected Bitcoin to reach 13 million by 2045, 20 years out. So with Bitcoin now trading above 100,000, close to 110, Saylor is becoming even more bullish, as he should. The strategy executive chairman stated the following. Listen up, guys. And baddies alike. I am getting more bullish on that forecast. I am certainly comfortable forecasting 30% a year on average for the next 20 years. So he ultimately believes Bitcoin's going up every single year moving forward, for the next 20 years at least, with an average of a 30% increase. Now, if you actually run the math, Bitcoin's been going up since the inception of the Genesis block over 100% per year. So holy shit. I dare say that's conservative, but even with the conservative projection, still extremely motherfucking bullish. 13 million per year, I think, will come a lot sooner than the year 2045. I dare say by the year 2030, we can be at 13 million per coin. But you guys let me know your thoughts, and we'll continue holding it down here as Bitcoins are ripping like the new Scottie Pippen, 1094. 26 hundo away. Price discovery today. Let's make it happen, Captain. Over 1,500 people on the live stream.